News Talk Station.
ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਫੇਰ ਦਾ ਜਸਵੀਰ ਰਮਾਣਾ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਅੱਜ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਡਨ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਬੰਧ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ। ਸਾਰੀ ਟੀਮ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਅੱਜ ਸਟੂਡੀਓ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਵੇਰ ਸਾਰ ਇਸੇ ਕੰਮ ਤੇ ਲੱਗੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ। ਸਾਡੇ ਰੋਮਨ ਹੋਣੀ, ਸੁਹਰਾਬ ਹੋਣੀ ਔਰ ਮਨਿੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ, ਨਿਮੀ ਡੋਲਾ ਜੀ, ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਰਲ ਕੇ ਹਿੰਮਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਸਾਰੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਹੋਸਟ ਆਮ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਹਟ ਕੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮਿੰਗ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਵੱਖ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਵਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਰਾਈਡਿੰਗ 'ਚੋਂ ਖੜੇ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਦੇ ਮੁਤਲਕ, ਅਤੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਪਲੈਟਫਾਰਮ ਬਾਰੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਿੱਜੀ ਵਿਅਕਤੀਤਵ ਬਾਰੇ, ਘਰ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਕੁਝ ਸਵਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਿਹਤਰ ਜਾਣ ਸਕੋ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟਸ ਨੂੰ, ਜਿਸ ਹਲਕੇ ਦਾ ਉਹ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਹੈ। ਔਰ ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਫੀਡਬੈਕ ਦੇਣਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫੋਨ ਕਰਕੇ 604-204-0600 ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਦੇ ਸਕੋਗੇ ਔਰ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਈਮੇਲਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅਗਰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਫੀਡਬੈਕ ਦਿਓਗੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੋਏਗੀ। ਅਗਲੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕਿਮ ਰਿਕਟਰ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਲੈਂਗਲੀ ਆਰਡਰ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਤੋਂ ਲਿਬਰਲ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਨੇ। ਲਿਬਰਲ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਸੱਤਾਧਾਰੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿਮ ਰਿਕਟਰ, ਅਤੇ ਇਸ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤੀ ਦੌਰ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਲਾਂਭਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਗੱਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਕਿਮ ਰਿਕਟਰ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਉਹਦਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਜਵਾਬ ਦੇਗੀ। ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਕਿਮ ਰਿਕਟਰ ਹੋਣ ਦੇ ਪਿਛੋਕੜ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣੀਏ ਕਿ who is Kim Richter, where from she comes, and what's her background. All these kind of questions we'll ask her. Hello, Kim. Sat Sri Akal. Welcome.
Hello, Dr. Romano. Thank you very much for inviting me to be on today. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for accepting our offer. Thank you for your time. Kim, introduce yourself to our listenership. We want to find out who is Kim Richter.
Well, Kim Richter is a long-term resident of Langley Township, and I have lived in Langley with my husband, raised my 3 children here for 35 years. I have also been a professor, I still am actually a professor of business management at Kwantlen Polytechnic University. And I have been an elected representative of Langley Township Council now for 22 years. That's 7 consecutive terms that I have been reelected to be the support for the community on Langley Council. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. I've done a lot of community work, and I think that if anybody's got any questions, they're welcome to send them to me. My email is kimrichter@live.ca.
Great. So being a professor in KPU is fine, and being a family person, being a counselor is very good, but that is different kind of politics and different kind of level. But what brought you, how did you decide to be in federal politics, and how did you choose Federal Liberal Party?
Well, this is not the first federal election that I've run in as a Liberal candidate. It's actually the second one. The first one that I ran in was back in 2004, and I ran in that election because Langley became its very own riding for the first time. And I felt it was important that we have a voice in Ottawa that understands the community. And of course, I was a counselor at the time, so I felt I had a good understanding of the community. Unfortunately, I wasn't so successful in that election. But now in 2021, we've had too many years of Conservatives who go to Ottawa. They take Langley, Abbotsford, and Aldergrove for granted, and they don't bring anything back to our communities. That has to stop. We need to have more support from our voices in Ottawa. It's time for a progressive voice that represents all communities to be in Ottawa, speaking on behalf of our communities and trying to get things for our communities. So my goal is to go to Ottawa if I am so fortunate as to be elected, and I intend to knock on every door I can find in Ottawa to find money to bring home to our communities so that we can get the things done that we need done here. There's too much being pushed off onto the property tax dollar, and that's just not fair.
You are already in politics, local politics, and you, like you told, you already ran unsuccessfully in 2004. things are changing now. Provincially, NDP won certain seats that they never even imagined ever. So kindly compare politics at that time, 2004, and nowadays, you being a Liberal candidate, what kind of political change you see in this area?
I see a huge change, and the biggest change that I see is the diversity that has occurred as a result of the rapid growth that's occurring, particularly in Langley Aldergrove area. We have consistently been growing at a rate of well over the average in BC, and we're getting new families and new communities coming and calling Langley home. And it's time for us to start doing things to embrace all those new communities and to help those new communities. One clear example that I wasn't even aware of, and I've been a township councillor for a long time, is in our parks. The seniors, particularly from the South Asian community, love to go every day to our parks. But they don't have benches there. They don't have coverings there. They don't have like a shelter over the parks, and they need that. And that will make the park more usable and more user-friendly for them. And those are the things that we need to start acting on. And of course, as a municipal councillor, I know money's tight. We have to do a lot with the 10 cents of every tax dollar we get, and we only get 10 cents. We have to do fire. We have to do police. We have to do garbage and sewer and water and parks. But we need more help for our growing communities. The $10 a day daycare, that to me is fabulous. I can't tell you how many times young families have come to Langley Township Council and said, we need $10 a day daycare. And we have provided some of those programs, but we're running it at a deficit. We're running it at a $550,000 a year deficit. And I don't think that's fair that we're paying for this out of property tax dollars when it should be being paid for out of the tax dollars that go to the federal government and the provincial government. So I was just delighted when Mr. Trudeau and Mr. Horrigan signed the deal on childcare, $10 a day childcare for our province. I want to see it happen. It will be so good for our young families. It will release monies that they can then use to buy their first homes and help to deal with the affordability issue for them. So those are some of the things that I think are important and that I want to see done.
We'll discuss many issues, federal issues and issues specific to your riding as well. But let me ask this question that you have answered dozens of times, I'm pretty sure, already in this campaign. That is, why do we need this election? It shouldn't have happened at all.
No, I disagree with you on that one. And I disagree with the people that are out there saying it shouldn't have happened. In 2019, the last federal election, COVID was on nobody's radar. In Canada, in the whole world. And look at the change that COVID has made to our country and to our world. And when the politicians stood up in 2019 and said they were going to go to Ottawa and do this, that, and the other thing, they had no idea that they'd get to Ottawa and the country would be shut down for a year and a half already. Now they have the right to have a say. They have the right to say, okay, I like what it is that you're doing. I want you to continue doing it. I like the fact that you've supported families. You put families before the deficit. That's a good thing. And making sure that people could put food on their table and pay their rent, that small businesses could get wage subsidies. I want to see the wage subsidy program for small businesses to continue forward so they can rebound and get back on their feet. So yeah, it's time, I think, for the country to have a say. And the only say they really get to have is a federal election. So I'm glad people are paying attention to this election. I encourage everybody to go out and vote for what they feel is right for the future going forward, because there's some big things at stake here, big things.
Great. So I see in your resume that you have a BA and BSc and you have a master's in medical field as well, administration part of it. Do you think, honestly, please do let us know, do you think Justin Trudeau handled the whole pandemic and management part of it and everything else attached to it in a fair way, nice way, or he could have done better?
No, I think he did the best he could given the circumstances we were in. I mean, when's the last time we were in a worldwide pandemic? I've never lived through one. You probably haven't lived through one. And the situation that our country was plunged into in a very short period of time, very short period of time, like we're talking less than 2 months, and we had to shut everything down. That was a whole set of unknowns. And I think he did the very best that he could, given the cards that were dealt at that point in time. And I sure am very happy that we didn't end up with civil riots because our population was not being well cared for. Our population was well cared for. If there is one thing that I would change going forward, in terms of how COVID's been handled, I would make sure that we have the ability to produce our own vaccine here in our own country. I think that's going to be critical going
Mr.
forward.
Trudeau, Kim, Mr. Trudeau, did he come to your riding for conversing? Because that's my next question, that why, if everything was okay and he handled it well, like you were saying me, why people are opposing him? Why is so much heat wherever he goes? People are abusive and they're throwing gravel on him. This is very, ugly face of our campaign that never ever happened previously. There must be something wrong somewhere, Kim.
No, and I agree with you. And I think what's wrong is we've got far too many Trump politics here in Canada now. Canada has always been a very compassionate, courteous, caring country. We have opened our arms to other countries in the world. This kind of radical, far right, destructive behavior, I've never seen it before, ever in my life in this country, and certainly not in this community. The small evidence that I have of it in our community is the sign destruction that's gone on. I mean, 50% of my signs were destroyed within the first 24 hours of me putting them up. I mean, there's usually some sign damage in each campaign, but 50%? Like, that is ridiculous. And
Kim,
what
we got only 2 minutes left.
Oh, okay.
We got only 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
Kindly let me know that as far as the polls are saying and the projections are that this is going to be another liberal minority. What did we get? We spent tons of money, $610 million. Election Canada says, and there's so many other parties are spending. I think it must be over $1 billion or so. And then what's the use of having election?
Because the government needs a new mandate. The people need to say, we're okay with what you're doing, push forward. We like your bold new plans for childcare, for the environment, for getting rapid transit out to the valley. If you like these plans and you want to see them progress, then give the federal government the mandate to make it happen. That's why this is a good election.
Kim, first time you didn't win, but this time, like you said, there are chances because demography is changing. Yeah. But once again, the challenge is that Jagmeet Singh is growing big too. Jagmeet, the growth is a challenge for Trudeau. What do you say about that?
Well, I believe in the collective wisdom of any democracy. And I believe that collective wisdom needs to prevail. And I believe we need to do everything we can to protect that collective wisdom. So if the collective wisdom says we want a minority government going forward, then that's the population's mandate. And we have to work with it. I would like a majority government.
Thousands and thousands of people, Kim, are listening to you now, and people in your riding, Langley, Aldergrove, are listening to you. You have 50 seconds to conclude everything. What would you like to say?
I would like to say the top 5 reasons for voting Liberal in this election. Number 1, we need to finish the fight against COVID. Number 2, we need to make sure homes are more affordable, especially for first-time buyers. Number 3, $10 a day childcare will make life more affordable for young families. Number 4, a commitment to more doctors and nurses, 7,500 of them across the country. And number 5, a plan for urgent action on climate change. Those are the top 5 reasons why I'm running Liberal and why I'm voting Liberal, and I think they're all good reasons. Thank you.
Kim, thank you very much for your time. And any number you want to leave here so that people can call you, or any email?
Yeah, they can call me at 778-979-0839, or they can email me at kimrichter@live.ca.
Best, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. I've enjoyed being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਸਾਂਝੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਲੈਂਗਲੀ ਆਲਡਰ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਤੋਂ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਨੇ ਲਿਬਰਲ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਲਈ, ਇਹ ਸਿਲਸਿਲਾ ਚੱਲਦਾ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ। ਬਰਾੜ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਮੇਰੇ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਪੌਲ ਬਰਾੜ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਇਹ ਸਿਲਸਿਲਾ ਚੱਲੇਗਾ, ਵੱਖੋ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟਸ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਔਰ ਉਮੀਦ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਪਸੰਦ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਦੇ ਮੂੰਹੋਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਸੁਣਨੀਆਂ ਵੱਖਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਦੱਸੀਏ।